You're good. You're going.
Okay,
you're gone. You're on.
No, we'll wait till everybody gets on here. Another big day, guys. Not guilty on all charges. I'll read them off to you in a minute, but I just came out of the courtroom. Everybody else hasn't came down yet. They'll be down in a minute, but there's no guilty verdicts at all. All not guilty totally. We have some no verdicts, but all of them are not guilty. I can read these off to you in a minute. We'll wait till a couple of them come out. I went ahead and left the courtroom. The judge at this time is asking each one of the jurors if they concur, and all this is correct. The prosecution still wanted to read the Allen charge and try to get them to come to some kind of conclusion, but that's not going to happen. The judge is not going to allow it. There's too many not guilty verdicts. They started out with Scott Drexler, and Scott Drexler has not guilty on 8 of the 10 charges. There's only 2 charges that were hung, and that was assault on a federal officer and carrying a firearm are hung. Next was Ricky Lovelien. All not guilty for Ricky Lovelien on all 10 counts. There is no hung charges on Ricky Lovelien at all. It's totally not guilty for Ricky Lovelien. They went third to Eric Parker. He has 6 not guilties, 4 hung charges. The hung charges are assault on a federal officer.
Free the Bundys.
Free the Bundys. Carrying of firearms, no charges, no verdict. Threatening a federal officer, no verdict. And another use of carrying a firearm, no verdict. 6 not guilties on Eric Parker. We have last is Steven Stewart, not guilty on all 10 charges. They were only hung on 6 of these charges. On 6 of 40 charges they were hung. Not guilty on all the rest of the 34 charges.
And then the hung juries, it appears they're hopelessly deadlocked on the...
They're hopelessly deadlocked. They cannot come up with any more verdict. The government again wanted to read the Allen charges on the rest of them, and it's not going to happen. The judge did make a note that she was going to set a hearing for detention hearing tomorrow. She's still going to hold these guys till tomorrow, is what she was saying in the courtroom, unless something changes. They're not guilty, guys, and they're holding innocent people for 18 months. 18 months in jail, and they've been innocent this whole time in 2 trials, and the jurors came back a second time. This case has been a sham from day one, and it was proven again here today in court. We had BLM officers sitting in court. They got up disgusted and walked out. We have FBI with their heads in their lap today. We have the government, the prosecuting attorneys with their head in their lap today. They have totally wasted taxpayers' money on innocent people, holding them in jail for all these months. 34 not guilty verdicts on 40 charges, and only 6 of them are actually hung, that they could not come up with a verdict. Let me show you this note here that I've done out in court, if you can see that. Not guilty on 34 charges. We're going to try to keep a live stream going. Andrea Parker is obviously overjoyed right now. Everybody is weeping in court. I could not hardly contain it by sitting in there, but I had to go ahead and get up and walk out and give you guys an update. Andrea should be walking out of here any moment. Those 4 defendants should be walking out this door right now.
Right now.
Can I have a picture of that?
Yes.
Of the verdicts?
You see that? Whoops.
Got it.
We proved to the government again, God is in charge here, 100%. Not guilty on all these charges, just proved it once again. I know that Doug wants us to all put those jury notification shirts on if we want to. I know they're somewhere around here.
They're down in the box. Should I run grab them right now?
Yeah, we'll hold this. Man.
My arms are up. What a great day.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hallelujah.
We have never seen Brand run. No, he came down those stairs running.
Not guilty!
All these days are worth it, isn't it? For that.
Not guilty!
Like I said, guys, we have been getting lots of phone calls from prison, from prom. The guys in jail yet do not know what's going on. We are expecting a phone call again from Ryan Payne. He's called me multiple times wanting to know what's going on, and hopefully he'll call back. I missed his call every single time because I was up there in the courtroom listening to this verdict and reading it out. The jurors, several of them were smiling at us. They came both times. They knew what was going on, and they were excited for the defense team. They knew these guys were not guilty.
They want you to say not guilty again.
Not guilty,
Not
guys.
guilty!
My not guilty pin, I couldn't wear it when I went up into the courtroom earlier. I had to take it off, so I don't have it on, but we're going to pass out some of those. Jamie's getting us some jury nullification shirts right now.
Let me make a point, something I think is very important. The credit goes to God. The credit goes to God. There's no way with what this judge has done. Can you see me okay in there?
Yeah, you're right.
There's no way with what this court has done that we should have had these not guilty verdicts. The only way that happens is with God. God gets the credit, God gets the glory.
Again, anybody who's just getting on there, I don't know if you can see this or not. Here comes Andrea Parker. Could you get Andrea's live stream going? Don't even worry about it. Okay. Not guilty, guys.
I need an extra large.
These are the shirts that Doug has printed up, and he's wanting everybody to wear. No victim, no crime, jury nullification.
Hey, John, you know what? Somebody said SWAT team can go home laughing out loud.
Yeah, they can, definitely.
Are those shirts
As
being
you
given
can
out
see,
for
there's
free?
literally no media down here at all.
Are those shirts being given out for free?
No media at all.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people saying, thank God. And then, Jesus,
I'm
thank
going
you.
to turn the camera around here.
You need some help? Why don't we take this into the shadow a little bit so that way you can see the screen better?
Okay, there we go.
John's getting ready to do a live, so
John's live. Right?
Yeah, I'm already live. I'm trying to turn the screen around here, guys.
Oh, there we go.
Trying to find the button here for it. I'm not on this side of the screen much. So, Andrea Parker's doing an update and saying some stuff here too, what's going on. I'm going to walk on down here, but again, we're not guilty on these guys here in Las Vegas, Nevada in the Bundy trial. And they are found not guilty on 34 of the 40 charges. The rest are hung. Again, guys, we proved in court that God can work miracles and that he did again. I'm going to walk down here to where we've been standing. And Andrea's giving an update right now on what she just heard in court also. Again, thanks everyone for praying. Thanks everyone for support and being a part of all of this and witnessing a big miracle again here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now these other guys like Greg Burleson and Todd Engel, we need this evaluated, and we need them guys released too, because them guys are not guilty also. It was a sham trial the first time, it was a sham trial this time, and the government did not prove anything. We had a handful of people up there. Actually, the courtroom was packed out. We still have a handful of people down here waiting to hear what happened. And it was awesome to be a part of this whole trial. 5 weeks of listening to the government again tell us over and over again how these men were so dangerous they could not be out on the street, given only a one-sided defense. The defense team never even got to bring their witnesses in, and these jurors seen through it. They used jury nullification to prove that these prosecutors were lying the whole time. They did not believe the lies. These are the people again. And everyone out there that keeps wanting to say that these people need locked up, they don't. We're proving again that random people pulled off the street can come up with a verdict of not guilty. And that's what happened here again today. We've seen God work. We've seen these jurors work. And they've seen through the lies that the government had. I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. I'm going to look at some messages here that people are putting on here to see what, if anybody has any questions. It's exactly right. This wicked judge needs impeached. She has railroaded people through both these trials. She has railroaded Jerry DeLoomis. She has railroaded Todd Engel. She has railroaded Greg Burleson. These guys need released. These guys right now should not be held a moment longer after the injustice that's being done for them for their sentencing. Let's see what they said here. I'm kind of missing some of your stuff going on right here. I do have a phone call coming on here. Give me just a moment. Hello? No, they're found not guilty. Only 6 charges are hung. They can retry them. All of them got, well, yes, Ricky Lovelien, and I'm on a live stream yet, but Ricky Lovelien and Steven Stewart across the board not guilty. No hung at all. Yes. And then 4 on Eric Parker has 4 hung charges, no verdicts at all. And on Scott Drexler is 2 hung. No guilty verdicts at all. Steven Stewart and Ricky Lovelien should be getting out today yet. Well, they should. We don't know yet. Andrea Parker's doing a live stream. She stayed in there longer. It sounds like those 2 will be getting out today. I'm just not positive yet on that. And then just on Scott Drexler and Eric Parker are the only 2. I don't know when they will be released or what they'll do with them, but there are 4 charges, 4 of the minor charges. The minor charges. No, they were found not guilty on the conspiracy on all the way across. Nobody was found guilty of conspiracy. On assault to a federal officer, there's 2 hung charges, Scott Drexler and Eric Parker. 2 hung charges on the other next 2 firearm charges. And then that's it on Scott Drexler. And threatening a federal officer and carrying of a firearm are hung also on Eric Parker. Those are the only hung ones. The rest are all not guilty across the board. So I'm going to finish this live stream, answer some more questions, and I'll call you back, okay? So, again, everyone that's just joining, it's not guilty across the board for the conspiracy charges for these 4 defendants down here. Both counts, count 1 and count 2, not guilty across the board. Ricky Lovelien and Steven Stewart, not guilty on all counts. Not guilty on all counts. There are 2 charges that they have hung that the jurors did not come back with a verdict, and that was assault on a federal officer and use of a firearm. Those, Eric Parker and Scott Drexler, it's hung. It's hung on threatening a federal officer and use of a firearm on Eric Parker only. Those are the 6 charges that they're hung on. And we don't know what's going to come about, if the government's going to try to retry these guys on these or not. But all the rest of the charges are not guilty.
Right? I think it'd be absolutely ridiculous for them to go back after these. You know, a handful of hung charges. The vast majority of them innocent. Those hung charges, the jury basically has said that we are hopelessly deadlocked. That's what we got out of it. So I think they're all going to go home. I just got a message that a independent attorney that's not involved says that they'll probably all go home at this time or very shortly.
Maybe not the day, but 2 of them should get out today.
Yes.
Steven Stewart and Ricky Lovelien should be out of the facility today and released. Scott Drexler and Eric Parker, they have a hearing scheduled for tomorrow already for them on a detention hearing, and we're going to see what the government decides on that.
What time?
They did not set a time. She was going to set a time, and I haven't heard of that time yet, but it's going to be tomorrow, probably at 9 o'clock. So,
people, this is a great day. Through all these trials, I think the government's down to probably, what, 10% conviction rate now?
well, they didn't. Woo! People are yelling, coming out of the courtroom.
They're all coming out. Everybody's excited.
we have an awesome group down here today. We have a lot of reasoning for rejoicing. 9:30 tomorrow morning is the detention hearing, and we will have that tomorrow. So,
Right? I think she said the jury.
juror number 11. Let's see who's coming out here.
Let's see who's coming. Do we have one of the jurors up there? Is there a juror up there? I don't know.
I'll turn the camera around, guys. Let you see everybody coming out of the courtroom.
You tell Guardian Dave it was in there today.
You had it in there.
The guys embraced each other like it was.
Wow, the jurors did? Or the guys inside? The guys.
And,
Wow.
And everyone became a cause. It was just.
Big smart.
No
Woo!
more! No more government overreach. This is a spanking for the federal government. Well deserved. That's
Well voted today, people. All their fraud is being defeated and dissolved.
The people have
The man
spoken.
upstairs.
That's right.
God. Believe in God.
What do you think, Scott?
John?
You're on the camera.
I got tears.
Yes, that's awesome, isn't
Tears
it?
and chills, and it doesn't get any better.
Yes. Well, thanks for coming down here. You couldn't have picked a better day to calm down.
This is awesome.
Yes,
And this is huge.
it is.
Huge. For the rest of the whole rest of this case, it's huge. It's awesome.
Well, thanks for coming again, Scott.
Man,
I appreciate it.
anytime. Anytime.
So we're gonna say a prayer down here. We've got we're having a prayer down here. I'll keep you off camera there. Try to.
Not guilty.
I haven't done his call yet. I'm still waiting on it again. I missed it. Oregon all over. Okay. He'll call me tonight. I guarantee it. I'll tell him.
prayer, guys, prayer.
Okay. Thank you,
Join
guys.
us.
Guys, too tonight.
So we're gonna do a prayer down here, guys.
Thank God.
Roger.
Not guilty, guys, on all counts again. Oregon not guilty, and here we've got not guilty over here. We've got a good group of people kneeling down here praying. We asked you guys to join us in prayer here for a minute too. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, guys, it looks like there's been a couple of the guys that are going to be released within the hour on the back of this place here. So they're going to be released here shortly?
They should be getting out.
For how long? Within the hour.
It usually takes them one
2 of them?
Shauna, which door? Up here?
It's the side door on the side of the building, down here.
There's not one down there, I don't think.
Back a second time. This case has been a sham from day one, and it was proven again here today in court. We had BLM officers sitting in court. They got up disgusted and walked out. We have FBI with their heads in their lap today. We have the government, the prosecuting attorneys with their head in their lap today. They have totally wasted taxpayers' money on innocent people, holding them in jail for all these months. 34 not guilty verdicts on 40 charges, and only 6 of them are actually hung, that they could not come up with a verdict. Let me show you this note here that I've done charges they were hung. Not guilty on all the rest of the 34 charges.
And then the hung juries, it appears they're hopelessly deadlocked on the...
They're hopelessly deadlocked. They cannot come up with any more verdict. The government again wanted to read the Allen charges on the rest of them, and it's not going to happen. The judge did make a note that she was going to set a hearing for detention hearing tomorrow. She's still going to hold these guys till tomorrow, is what she was saying in the courtroom, unless something changes. They're not guilty, guys, and they're holding innocent people for 18 months. 18 months in jail, and they've been innocent this whole time in 2 trials. And the jurors came back, each one of the jurors, if they concur and all this is correct. The prosecution still wanted to read the Allen charge and try to get them to come to some kind of conclusion, but that's not going to happen. The judge is not going to allow it. There's too many not guilty verdicts. They started out with Scott Drexler, and Scott Drexler has not guilty on 8 of the 10 charges. There's only 2 charges that were hung, and that was assault on a federal officer and carrying a firearm are hung. Next was Ricky Lovelien. All not guilty for Ricky Lovelien on all 10 counts.
You're good. You're going.
Okay,
you're gone. You're on.
No, we'll wait till everybody gets on here. Another big day, guys. Not guilty on all charges. I'll read them off to you in a minute, but I just came out of the courtroom. Everybody else hasn't came down yet. They'll be down in a minute, but there's no guilty verdicts at all. All not guilty totally. We have some no verdicts, but all of them are not guilty. I can read these off to you in a minute. We'll wait till a couple of them come out. I went ahead and left the courtroom. The judge at this time is asking, there is no hung charges on Ricky Lovelien at all. It's totally not guilty for Ricky Lovelien. They went third to Eric Parker. He has 6 not guilties, 4 hung charges. The hung charges are assault on a federal officer.
Free the Bundys.
Free the Bundys. Carrying of firearms, no charges, no verdict. Threatening a federal officer, no verdict. And another use of carrying a firearm, no verdict. 6 not guilties on Eric Parker. We have last is Steven Stewart, not guilty on all 10 charges. They were only hung on 6 of these charges, on 6 of 40.